It's por versus para. Yeah. So I'm going to pause this real quick and pull up that picture. All right. So on the para side of things, if I can ever say in order to, then it's para. If I'm talking about a deadline, it's para. If I'm talking about a destination, it's para. And I cannot believe that I didn't write this down, but if it's an intended recipient, it's para. Those are easy. I have to get this in by Friday. I have to get to work, destination. I have to give this gift to my mom. Those are all para, okay? If you have a specific date or time mentioned, it's para. That's basically me giving you a deadline, right? You have to be in bed by 10. Well, that's a time, and that's also a deadline that you have to be in bed. Employment is para. That's weird, so just memorize it. Yo trabajo para Wendy's, or whatever. And then comparison, which is the Mean Girls. Everybody likes to call it that. For being so tall, he's actually pretty normal looking. That's para, okay? If you have an errand of some sort, like somebody's doing something, blank verb, then that's going to be para because they're doing it with the purpose of the verb or in order to the verb. Okay? And the only phrase I could think of to put here is para mí. As far as por goes, if I'm going to say by in any way, shape, or form except for deadlines, if it's a deadline, it's over here. So if I say by Friday, then it's para. But any other time I'm going to use the word by, it's por. If I'm going to say through, it's por. If I'm going to say because of, I'm going to say por. Modes of transportation or communication. So how did I get to Madrid? By boat, by plane, whatever. How did I talk to my mom? By phone, by fax, by email. Any of those things are going to be por. And again, I'm using the word by there, so that should make sense. Next one, numbers or duration. And again, if I have a number after the blank, then it's going to be like 3 horas, and that would be duration, so that's por. And then rate or exchange, I consider the same thing. Again, payment is the same thing. So if I paid, payment and exchange are the same thing. So if I paid $20 for something, or if I gave you my fur coat in exchange for something, either way, I'm basically buying something. I'm just doing it with legal US tender or a different object. And then the rate, if I'm ever going to say 30 miles per hour, or I babysit for $20 per hour, any kind of per is going to be rate, and that's por. And then if I have an errand, just like over here, like I'm doing something, but the blank is followed by a noun, then it's going to be por. Because that object is my motivation for doing something, and I'm not doing something with the purpose of in order to do a verb. It's very similar, so just say errand plus verb, para. Errand plus noun, por. If you're talking in generalities, then you're going to be using por. Somebody noticed in one of my classes that if you say unos or unas, that's a general word, right? Because it means some, and that doesn't sound very specific, so it's going to be por most likely. Here's some phrases you can remember for por. Por eso, por favor, por la tarde, or por la mañana, or por la noche, and gracias por. So let's get started. Now, I totally encourage you to email me if you have a question about one of these. I say email, Remind101 chat me if you have a question about one of these. I'm going to have to talk pretty fast because I'm going to run out of time. No estudié, blank eso, no saqué buena nota en la prueba. So, I didn't study because of this. So since I can say because of, it's por. But also, por eso is a phrase. Anoche fui a H-E-B blank comprar más queso. So last night I went to H-E-B with the purpose of, or in order to, or errand followed by a verb. So it's para. Blank ser tan vieja es muy bella. So that's the Mean Girls thing, right? For being so old, she's very pretty. Well, don't sound so surprised, lady. But that's a comparison, okay? So for her being so old, she's actually very pretty. Para. ¿Me puedes ayudar, por favor? That's just a phrase. Usualmente me lavo la cara blank la noche. That's another phrase. Por la noche, por la mañana, por la tarde. Tengo que terminar esta presentación blank el jueves. El jueves is a day of the week. It's a specific day, so it's a deadline. And if you read the sentence, I have to finish this presentation by Thursday. By is being used, but it's being used with a date, which means I'm giving you a deadline, and deadlines are para. This is the one I jacked up. I'm so sorry, y'all. So the correct answer that you could not choose is Yo trabajo para HEB. Why? Because that's my employment. I work for HEB. Somebody in 7th period said, if you say trabajo blank, it's going to be para. Pretty much. You could say I work on behalf of my family to get money for them. But yeah, if you have yo trabajo blank and then an employment place like Pabado or Conroe ISD or The Gap or whatever, then it's going to be para. ¿Por qué me pagan $10 por hora? Because that's a rate. They may be $10 per hour. All right, next one. Fuimos de la Ciudad de México a Acapulco por autobús. Why? Because that is, well, I'll get to that in a minute. Sorry, I chose the wrong one. Why won't it let me choose that? That's great. It let me choose it last time. Anyway, this first one should be por as well. Why? Because that's our mean and mode of transportation. And then we were traveling for 5 hours. That's duration. Duration is a specific number, and it would be por. Not a specific time and date. Time and date are para. Those are both por. Josefina fue a la escuela. So Josefina went somewhere in order to. So since I can say in order to, it's para. Also, it's an errand followed by a verb. In order to speak with the professor, but because of the traffic, so por, I can blame the traffic, she didn't arrive on time. Mis padres pagaron, my parents paid $200 for those Taylor Swift tickets. So they paid $200. They made a payment. Payment is por. Mi libro favorito es blank John Grisham. John Grisham is the author. My favorite book is by. I just said the word by, and it's not a deadline, so it's por. Next one. I'm gonna pass by. So again, if you use pasar right before the blank, I'm pretty sure that it's always going to be por because you're passing by somewhere. It's not my destination. Maybe I'm on my way home, but I'm going to swing by the mall and grab something, right? So the first one is por, and then I'm running an errand, right? I'm going by the mall. What am I going by the mall for? A noun. So this one's also por. If I had said blank comprar unas camisas, then it would be para. Okay, but they're both por because of noun and because of pasar por. Next one. I say next one, this is the last one. This one is so my fault, and I'm so sorry, but I can't change these quizzes once y'all have them in action. This one's wrong online. It should have been counted correctly. The girl bought a bouquet of roses for the intended recipient, her mother. She bought them for her mother. Hopefully that makes sense to you. If I buy chocolates for my boss, or if you buy glitter pens for me, then para. The intended recipient is after the blank, and it's para. Okay? In order to doesn't work there, but she's the intended recipient. Okay? So that's just one of the other uses of para. So hopefully this has been helpful. I'm going to publish this video.